Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that break, that lovely Brutal OST, as we have returned with the grand finals, los gran finales of ESL Open Cup Americas, papi, Americas. We're here with a ZvT between these two incredible players. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Golden Aura, we have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the Blue Zerg representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark. And upon hearing this message, predictions are open for 1 more minute. For 1 minute, so make sure you're quick, papi, you're quick, because the predictions are soon to close as well. Bearing in mind there are, of course, a delay on stream. Bear that in mind. As yeah, we do have our fresh best of 5. Dark, he just barely made it through the gauntlet. He barely made it through Beyond in the last round. It was not an easy road to go through, not an easy player to walk out, to go through, an easy road to walk either. But now we're here in the finals, and Clem is raring and ready to go. Again, Clem is one of the few European players that is willing to sacrifice their sleep schedule to play in ESL Open Cup Americas on a weekly basis. It's a terrible time in France at the moment. I think it's, what, like 3 a.m.? Hold on. France time. Yep, 3:30 a.m. in the morning in France. Likewise, Clem alongside Geralt, Wayne, and Max Pax. They are the 4 players that typically do stay up really late and play in the Americas weekly. So we always do appreciate it. A lot of love and a lot of support to the Europeans that do sacrifice their sleep. I mean, I say that, really, they were going to be awake anyway. You know, they were... They're old agents, papi. They're old agents. Ay. They would have been awake regardless. As Dark is opening up Gasless again. Now, if you were here earlier today, you would have seen us cast Dark versus Disrespect. I think it was in the second round. Yeah, I think the second, maybe the first round. We casted Dark versus Disrespect, and I did mention that Dark loves going for this opener specifically on Golden Aura, and I can reiterate it here for those that weren't a part of the broadcast earlier today. But of course, because this map is so congested, because these 3 bases are so close together, they're so tight-knit as the link goes down, and the entry points, these areas here are so narrow, you can get away with skipping link speed. You can get away with defending with purely a handful of lings and mainly queens on 3 bases, which is why as a Zerg player on this map, you can get away with going gasless. As a result, you get a better economy, you're droning quite heavily, you're mining nothing but minerals, you're making queens and more queens and more queens, and this typically leads into roach play. Because your gases are so late, catching up with link speed is less than ideal, so by the time Dark gets fully saturated on 2 bases, he's going to take 2 gases and throw down a Roach Warren. And then suddenly you can turn this defensive or this greedy play into aggressive play, because the rush distance by ground on Golden Aura is quite short. Quite short indeed. As for now, we're just going to be deflecting these Reapers back at home. Clem is going for a 3cc opener, 3rd cc before starport. So very economic here out of our Terran player. As we're getting into an add-on swap here, and oh, interesting. We're going to be opening up, 3cc Banshee, so very classic opener. Very by the book, very old school, very standard. As standard as standard can be, so 3cc Banshee out of Clem. Hellions are being zoned away, now the gases are being taken, and a Roach Warren is thrown down. So again, gasless opener, into mass droning, into finally some gases, and a Roach Warren as well. Do you see that Clem is trying to bypass these queens, but again, it just, because everything is so close, like the queens, it doesn't take too long to just rotate between these 2 areas, this ramp and this entry point. Just have to rotate between them and zone away the Hellions. No additional lings were made, no additional lings were necessary other than the first 6 that were made at the start of the game. Roach is now in production, and Dark can commit to a Roach push. Now, again, I mentioned before that the rush distance by ground is quite short. Thankfully for Clem, he opened up Banshee, so he has a perfect setup here to deal with roaches as they are moving out. And Dark is going to find out the hard way that his opponent opened up with Banshees. He doesn't know yet. He hasn't gone in. He hasn't scouted. He is not aware. as the roaches are waddling across the map. Oh, the Hellions do come across them. They have been seen. And the Banshees are coming forward towards that natural base. Roaches don't shoot up. The Banshees are soon to reveal themselves. And Dark is gonna turn back around. He turns back around with the rest of his roaches. He commits with the first 3 because it's too late for them. They gotta focus down as many SCVs as they can, and they will get 5 SCVs. Not bad. Oh, 5 SCVs for 3 roaches. The rest race back home because we know that it's going to be a lost cause to try to break this position. And Clem will hold. Clem is now working on a 3rd CC and now going for a counterattack. He has Hellions for map control. He has Banshees to harass the mineral lines, but there are spores on the way. And the roaches are in position to deflect those Hellions. They do delay the 4th. Pretty important to take note of. Very bold 4th here from Dark. He's going to be taking the linear 4th base. Banshees come in. Up. They don't quite get a drone. Oh, but the Hellions likewise are also looking to dive into the base as well. It looks like they will make their way to the 3rd base. The Queens are out of position. The roaches as well. Clem, he roasts up the mineral line. He gets, what, 6, 7, soon to be 8 drones. 9 even. A big mistake there. A big misstep out of Dark. This should not have happened. Clem, he found an opening and he gets 12, a 13 worker, it was 14 even. Very nicely done. And now Dark is in a rough position. He is going for +1 melee, so he's going into Ling Bane after this. So it's going to be Roach into Ling Bane for Dark. Double drop coming across the map towards the 4th base. Likewise, Banshees towards the natural. And going to be delaying the 5th. So far, really good movement out of Clem. Here comes the double drop, looking to deny the 4th. And the roaches are in position where we barely have it up here to hold. As the Ravagers do survive. That was close, though. That was on a knife's edge. Behind this, Clem is fully saturated on 3 bases. He takes his gas, he throws down a factory. He's not going for an 8 racks. He's going into eventually a 4th CC. So very macro-oriented here out of Clem. Very standard play. Yes, he's on 5 racks. He's not going all in by any means. He's applying pressure. Clem will be reinforcing. The creep here still needs some work. That's what's scary about this 4th base. Specifically, this location obviously can be sieged upon by tanks on the high ground. Like, there's high ground right next to it. There's obviously tall grass as well. Really good tank positioning here on the left-hand side. And Clem is just making sure the creep is not spread here. Setting up for the eventual push. At the same time, Banshees come in from the right. There's nothing in position. Ooh, the tumors are going to go down, and we're going to apply pressure to the hatchery. Queens are on the way. And Dark will protect this base. At the same time, Dark forces back the drop. Very aggressive. There's the 4CC from Clem. We mentioned earlier that because the gases were taken, because the factory was revealed. Again, macro play out of Clem. Not going for a 3-base all-in. Meanwhile, the Hive is done. Hive is spotted. We have Vipers on the way, soon to be 3-3. Dark has been very fond of Ling Bane into Ultra today. He hasn't made Lurkers, actually, even though he's been traditionally very fond of them in this matchup. He even went Lurkers against Beyond last night. But this morning, it's been all about the Ultras. Very interesting. I say Lurkers last night. He went Hydras last night. I don't think he quite went into Lurkers. Once again, there's the Ultra Cavern. But here comes Clem. Again, this other 4th base here looking a little bit more exposed. Clem setting up here with his tank line. Dark going for a big counterattack, losing a lot of lings in the process, though. Mailing speed is done, but this hatchery, oh, it is going to go down. As I say that, gets down to half HP. The lings, they get across the map. The lings, they get on top of the tank. They bust into the mineral lines as well. SCVs are falling. Not too many, though. And yeah, the hatchery, it's just a little bit too much. Too much DPS, too many Marines. Clem, he does break the base. And across the map, only 8 SCVs went down. 8 SCVs and 1 tank. You know, Clem is caught on siege. He is caught on siege. The tank line is gonna fall. A big misstep there from Clem. A big opportunity for Dark. As he does clean up the army. Marines, they drop into the main base. Overstimmed. Dark is in position. Able to push it back. Even going for his own counter. Nidus worm into the main. Oh, and Clem, he does see. He's reacting. He only has tanks, though. Only tanks to respond. Nidus does finish. Lings do manage to trickle into the main base. Scans are going to be required. I believe that Clem knows this. He just doesn't have any scans available at the moment. But I'm sure he's aware. As Dark is still on 4 bases, he's working on a 5th. Clem is maxed at this point. Jesus, his macro is insane. And Dark is 1 step behind. He's working on 3-3, that is true. He's getting his 5th base back up and running, but the creep is lackluster. And without creep, it's going to be difficult to really engage. Clem is looking to push. Going to catch some of these Bailings. He is going to have to back off, but again, we need to respread that creep. You see Clem coming in from the right-hand side, but Dark is in position. For the most part, he can't deal with this. Oh god, the Lings are just walking into their deaths. At the same time, Dark can't push up this ramp, throws down some power bombs. He will have to reinforce. And even though Clem was maxed, he wasn't quite able to do too much with this. And I wonder, did Clem forget about these Lings? Because the Lings, they do pop up once again. Forcing out scans. Nidus is on the way. Gold base is being taken. A great way to catch back up and to work on that bank. Taking control of that gold. The creep is still lackluster though. Still barely connecting the bases. Not even connecting the bases. Did we lose our queens earlier? I believe we did. Yeah. We only have injecting queens. Oh. That is why we don't have too many active tumors. We have 4 queens in between, what, 6 bases? So we're even going to be lacking some injects as well. And that is why we just don't have many active tumors at all. And here comes Clem and just dipping towards that gold. Dark takes down the gold. Clem going to be expanding here towards the center of the map. There's one ultra to defend. As we go for a drop into the main. We're going for the armory. This shouldn't get too much done, but the armory does go down. Nice pick off there. The ultra trying to keep up. Dark trying to break that planetary as well. Doesn't quite make it. He takes down a couple of tanks. Link's coming from the right hand side, and Clem is being pulled apart. But can Dark find the damage that he needs? Very cheeky move there. He borrows 2 Bailings. Up! Up! Only 2 Bailings, unfortunately. But they can detonate, and they will. They take down 11 SCVs. The damage finally has been done. Whew. The damage that Dark was looking for. Behind this, we have a Spire. Looks like Dark recognizes that he's going to have to deal with a very entrenched Terran player. Power bombs. Decent power bombs actually forcing a split on those SCVs. The Bailings, they roll in. A late reaction out of Clem. The planetary goes down. Now, the scary thing about Golden Aura is that because the rush distance by ground is so short, Clem can counterattack that much faster. Like, these bases are so close together. So Dark has to be very careful with how inefficiently he trades. Because here we have the counterattack and the Bailings aren't ready. Yeah, roaches are going down. Clem taking full advantage of Dark. More Bailings are on the way. They weren't ready for this. From behind. The surround is real. Clem gonna be the one to overextend. There is no detection. The queen, we barely have any queens to begin with. No. Save the queen. We're down to 3 queens. This is it. These are all the queens we have. No injects going on. Now, thankfully, Dark is maxed, so he doesn't really need Larva at the moment, but lack of queens, it can hurt. So here we go. We dive on the army. Once again, we have an orbital, and it's going to be going down. No reaction with the SCVs. Clem is being broken. 25 SCVs go down the miles. Almost take down the base. Yeah, and Dark, he can just keep trading. Again, like, the economic damage that Clem has been sustaining has been too much, and Dark, he wants more. He wants the 3rd. The 4th even. Another planetary falls. So does the 5th base. And Clem, he's so desperate. He lifts up his main base to take as a 3rd at this point. He's on a 2-base economy, barely a 2-base economy. Nidus is on the way. Clem is going for a big counterattack. Clem does have a comparable army to that of Dark, but we do manage to morph in these Banelings and Ravagers just in time. And the Banelings, they do crash on in. Tank shot's going to be going off, and Dark's main army is going to be cleaned up, but he has reinforcements on the way. He's got 7 Ultras in production. Lings are harassing, getting even more SCVs. The Biles, they take down a Liberator. The Lib falls. Here comes Dark. Show us the power bombs. He wants them, Bob. He wants them. He's going to chase this all the way back. Clem just doesn't have anything else left. Again, he's on a 3 bases. Barely 3 bases mining. The power bombs, they do connect. They land. Yeah, there's barely anything left. Only a handful of tanks. The blinding clouds cover them. And Dark is looking to take a lead in this series. It was a close game, very back and forth. Both players, they had their moments. But Dark has snowballed out of control. GG gets called. Dark will take game number 1. Whew. GG. Again, the constant aggression from Dark. Initially, Dark wasn't achieving too much with it. Remember, I was concerned. I was like, oh, like he's pushing in. He's not quite getting too many workers. I think from the moment when Dark unborrowed those Banelings at the 3rd base, and when he killed 11 SCVs, from that moment it felt like that's when he got a little bit more momentum. That's when he was able to start collapsing on these bases, killing workers, sniping tanks as well. And yeah, Dark, he pulled Clem apart. It wasn't just that, to be fair. Dark just constantly going in with Dropper Lords, with Nidus Worms as well, just pulling apart the attention of Clem. And yeah, Clem, he couldn't keep up. Could not keep up. Very well done. I love how Dark uses Burrow. Yeah, it's really cool. I'm sure you've noticed, but in not just this series, but in a lot of ZvTs, Dark, he is so on point when it comes to burrowing not just Banelings, but also Lings in bases, in mineral lines, like unburrowing them whenever he can, reburrowing as well. And especially in a position like that when Clem has limited scans, like scan is a resource. Like the energy on your CCs is a resource that is finite, that you don't have unlimited of. Like you only have a few at a time, a few scans available at a time, or mules even. And it is something that Terran players can struggle with. This is also why when the initial patch notes were released, when, I don't know if you know this, if you remember this, but the Ultra was technically buffed in this most recent patch. It does unburrow and burrow faster, actually. And I was like, yo, this is a Dark buff. Because Dark, like Lings, whenever he gets momentum, he will also like burrow Ultras like in your bases and in your mineral lines. And that change specifically is applicable to Dark. I don't know any other player that does that. I don't know any other Zerg player that actually uses burrow as much, as often as Dark. I know Cyril does it a little bit as well, but I don't think he does it as often. Regardless, we're getting into our next game, and spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Oceanborn, we have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid down in this series, but not out. Not yet. It is Clem. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming, leading the series 1-0. It is Dark. Clem going to be going for a low ground 2x, actually. Whipping out a page out of Bjorn's book. And yeah, the downside to this, of course, is that whenever we bring this up, Dark is very well versed in this. I mean, he just beat Bjorn, by the way. He just did beat him. So I'm sure he's going to be fully prepared to deal with this. We'll see if Clem can accomplish what Bjorn couldn't, as he does open up with the 2x into Reapers. His goal here to contain, to delay the third base. Now, if you remember, we did play out a ZvT between Bjorn and Dark on this map an hour ago. And Dark was able to get his third base up and running. He was able to get it up despite the 2x opener. And we'll see if he can do it again. See if he can pull it off. Yeah, Dark, he is just going to be scouting ahead of time, just making sure that there is no third base. And oh my god, this is crazy. I understand now. Dark is opening up gasless. This is worrisome. Oh. Yes, it is West. This is a little bit worrisome here, as it's going to be a 2x opener, and Dark, can he hold on to this base? Now, he gets his third base a lot earlier than normal. It's already got a lot of progression on it. Clem is going to get eyes on this. Because of the gasless opener, there is no link speed. Without link speed, we're going to have a hard time keeping up with these Reapers. But because of how early the hatchery is, it may be okay. Again, it should only be 3 Reapers. I say that we are making an additional Reaper. We're going up to 4. Okay, just 3. Now we should be working on the add-on swap, on our additional add-ons. From here instead. Yeah, Clem, he has to give up on that third base because it's so early, like it's going to finish. The Reapers, they try to dive into the main, but Dark is in position. And Dark shuts this down. 2x opener doesn't really achieve much. It didn't deny a base. It didn't kill anything. Really solid defense here. Really solid opener out of Dark. I would give him the edge at this point. I do think he's a little bit ahead after this build. Back at home, it's going to be a 2x into a factory, into a third CC. So Clem is not going all in. He is transitioning out of this into a 3CC 2-on-1. And he's going to be pulling a Cure. This is something that Clem and Cure have been doing a lot. Where if you see either one of those players, if they go 2x, they do actually go for an add-on swap, and they make 2 Cyclones. So these 2 Cyclones, they're designed to hunt down Overlords, like this one. Hunt down Overlords and maintain map control. Cure has been very fond of this, and so has Clem. I'm not sure if Maru has. We haven't casted too much Maru on this channel recently. We casted him in GSL, but he played very distinctly in GSL this season. And I haven't seen too much of Maru's TVZs in WTL this season yet. As Reapers are moving out. God, he wants the Queens. Can he get them? With the arrival of these Cyclones, he may. We do force a transfuse. Looks like we're going to be going for an Overlord first. And the first Overlord is going to go down. Oh, we even get the Queen. Not quite. A rough lock on there. We're going to be reinforcing with Hellions. Another Overlord is not going to go down. Dark Belly does hold on. Clutch transfuses. And behind this, we have continued Hellion production. Going into delayed Marine production instead. As Clem is now working towards his Medivacs. Additional Marines on the way. Double Eva Chamber for 1-1. As Dark, of course, did follow up with roaches. I should have said this earlier, but when you go gasless, just like the previous game in Golden Ore, you do go into roaches. But the Hellions, they ignore the roaches and the queens. A massive dive here from Clem. Oh, God. But the workers, they turn and fight. But alas, 5 workers still go down. 6 drones even. Quite a lot of economic damage, bearing in mind that Hellions do lose value over time, especially against roaches. So throwing away your Hellions for 6 drones, a pretty good trade for Clem. And he kept the Cyclones alive as well. He knew that the Cyclones have more value, does preserve them. Double drop is moving out. So this is a late double drop, a late stim drop, I should say. It's at 6 minutes. Just because of the Hellion and Cyclone production does hit later. Oh, but there is no creep. Uh-oh. Dark, can he protect this base? He's gonna try to dive in, but nah, we should force a cancel. 4th base is gonna be denied, and I'm getting some deja vu. If you remember, depending on who has map control and who has momentum, it's gonna be very difficult for either player to get a 4th. And at the moment, that is applicable to Dark. Getting a 4th base on Oceanborn is a very difficult thing to do, and we saw Dark struggle and fail to do so against Beyond. I think Dark, if you remember, he lost his 4th base 5 times against Beyond. As Beyond, he just kept bouncing back and forth over and over again at the 4th and 5th base location, denying bases and eventually snowballing out of control. And that was the game that Beyond did win on Oceanborn in that best of 3. Of course, I'm sure Clem is fully aware of, the advantages of this map and making use of them. He's going to be reinforcing with another drop as well. Tank line is getting set up. We have a 2nd tank, 2 more gases. We're working towards a 4th CC. Clem is stimming forward. As Clem is gonna back off. Just clearing up creep. Dark, he's cutting workers at 66. This is a 3-base all-in. So Dark, he's on a 3-base saturation with 66 workers. He's making nothing but roaches and ravagers. He is pushing across the map. He doesn't have to want to worry about holding onto a 4th base. He's sending everything here towards the 3rd of Clem. And can Clem survive? Here we go. We're pushing on forward. The Biles will not be connecting. They do zone the army back. The roaches, they get into the middle line. The tank goes down. Dark coming in from behind as well, taking a lot of losses. Doesn't quite get into the mineral line, and yeah, we just dive on top of the Ravagers. So many Ravagers go down. Dark, can he break through? He's trying, but it looks like he doesn't have enough. He's gonna get some deeper. He's gonna shave off a couple of SCVs. Behind this, Dark is droning. He knows that he cannot break him. He does trade. Another wave of roaches comes in. He gets a couple of SCVs. 8 SCVs go down. But that is enough to just equalize the economy. And I would still stand by Clem having the better economy at the moment. Again, just like on Golden Aura, here on Oceanborn, it's very difficult to break the 3 bases. It's very difficult to break a 3-basing player. And yeah, Dark, he tried. Didn't quite accomplish it. He's still maxed, but a very inefficient army. The soup sometimes does lie, especially when roaches are involved like this. Which is why even though Dark was maxed, he could not break Clem. Oh, he's pushing in though. Clem fighting without his tanks. Big mistake. Dark, he can still pull this off. He's trying once again for a 3rd time. Takes down the turret. Tower even. Trading with the Marines. There is a drop in towards the main base, but Dark is able to keep up for now. As he's backing off, he's droning. We have Link Speed on the way, 2-2, and a Hydra Den. So Dark is transitioning into a later game, into a higher form of army. And I would kind of favor Clem in this position. He does take a bow to the face, though. He has to be very careful with how he engages. 4th base is going to be denied. I mentioned before that if you have map control, it is very difficult to take this 4th. Dark doing everything he can to contain his opponents. He's diving on top of the tanks. They were on siege. Both tanks will go down. And Dark, he can keep on pushing. He gets on top of a third tank, a fourth, a fifth tank as well. Clem was exposed. And Dark, he can't quite keep pushing. He's running out of his buffer zone, his roaches. But Dark is going to back off. And Clem is trading quite well here towards the end. And he gets what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Ravagers. Oh my god. Ravagers getting picked off one after the other. Dark being forced back. But behind this, he's getting into Hydra Lurker. Lurker Den is on the way. I believe the Hive. Yep, the Hive is done. We can get into Vipers. So Dark is refining his army. Clem does finally take the space. What's important as well, Dark hasn't been droning. Dark is still on 3 base saturation. Ooh, and now bases are going to start falling. Yeah, we can commit, and the 5th base is going to go down for Dark. At the same time, he doesn't get the tank. No shot. The tank and the Liberator survive. Dark, he's in a lot of trouble. He's in a lot of trouble. He needs Lurkers to survive. As Clem has a lot of momentum going his way, Clem does have the better economy. He's up in workers. He's even in bases. He's got a 5th CC in production. And this is slipping away from Dark. When I say that, I don't know if Dark ever was really ahead. He was aggressive earlier, but again, only with Roach Ravager. Clem likewise has to respect the position of his opponent. Doesn't quite get surrounded. Hydras have arrived. Lurker upgrades are on the way. Lurker range is done. Now we have Adaptive Talons. And now Dark can work on, yeah, the Lunkers, Papi. They're on the way. And Dark should now be able to hold. It isn't just Lurkers. He has Vipers as well. He has Blinding Clouds. Clem is pushing, but Dark is far more prepared this time. It's still going to be close, though. That's still a lot of tanks. It's an insane amount of tanks, and here we go. Clem pushing on in. 10 tanks to his name, but he comes across the Lurkers. Bit of a misclick, though, from Dark. There we go. He does get the next tank, the next couple of tanks even. Again, Dark, he just has to keep on picking off these tanks whenever he can. He needs a little bit more time, though, onto those Vipers. The tanks are exposed. Once again, 2, 3 tanks go down. Good moment here from Dark. He's holding. Vipers are now full of energy. They get 2 tanks. The Ghosts have arrived. Only 1 Viper is left. But Dark is doing a great job of just picking away at this army. Oh! The final Viper goes down. Big overextension from Dark. And what's important is that Dark, he doesn't have an economy. He doesn't have a 5th base. He's still stuck on 4 bases. Clem, he's snowballing out of control. Even though Clem is trading and he's been losing tanks. Like, he has been bleeding out a lot of tanks. But he can afford it. He can afford to replace those tanks. And Dark can't afford to replace his Lurkers and his Vipers. Another Lurker goes down. Good target firing out of Clem. He's going to be backing off, retreating towards the would-be 5th. Dark going for his own big counterattack, though. He comes across an orbital. Greedy move here from Clem, making his 4th base an orbital instead of a planetary. Snipes are coming in, though. Clem, he's in position. And Dark, he loses everything. He only gets 7 SCVs. Yeah, Dark is on his last legs. He's barely holding on. Going for 1 big counterattack. This is all he has left. There is potential. There is potential with this army, but we get the scan. We have the concave. The snipes are going up as well. And Dark is going to lose his entire army. He gets 13 SCVs. GG gets called, and Clem will tie the series 1-1. GG. And I don't blame Dark for going all in earlier. I mentioned before that this map is very difficult to hold on to your 4th base, as we saw earlier between Dark and Bjorn. We saw how Dark was really struggling against Bjorn on Oceanborn. Likewise here, Dark went all in. He went just pure Roach Ravager, but he could not break the 3rd base because even though it's difficult to take a 4th on this map, it's also very easy to defend on 3 bases. And yeah, Dark, he just was trying the other route here. If he couldn't play macro, he was trying to go all in and didn't quite work out in the end. He couldn't break Clem. Had a couple of moments where he was trading well, but Clem did overpower him in the end. And Dark was not set up for a longer game. Didn't have the worker count for it. Wasn't really intending for that either. And GG. Clem ties it up. Clem does tie up the series 1-1. I think this is something that I appreciate the most out of the new map pool, now that I think about it. We have had map pools in the past where a lot of maps are very similar, right? There's like maybe 1 or 2 unique features about them, but they don't really change too much of that dynamic of the game. But that's the difference about this new map pool, is that every map is very unique and it does allow for very different playstyles. Oceanborn, Golden Aura, Alcyone, Radisson Station. Radisson Station is a bit of an extreme version of that, but yeah, they all kind of allow for different playstyles, and they favor different playstyles as well. I still feel like Dark hasn't quite... I don't know, I was gonna say that like Dark not vetoing Oceanborn is still something that perplexes me, just because we've seen a lot of Zoe players struggle on Oceanborn. But I'm sure there's a lot of thought behind the rest of his vetoes. I'm wondering what they are though. In a best of 5, he would only have 2 vetoes. And yeah, I wonder what his second veto is. Maybe Hardlead? Because of the rush distance by ground, Hardlead can be a very difficult map as well. So he may favor Oceanborn over Hardlead. I'm not entirely certain. Actually, hold on. Can I check? Can I check the vetoes? Let's see. Oh, it was Solaris. Okay. I see. Interesting, interesting. I mean, I know that because of the rushes, because of the speed zones, I know Solaris can be difficult. And the base layout as well. Fair enough, fair enough. Basically, when you look at Solaris, it's a big map, yes, but there are so many choke points. And like throughout the entirety of like the center and the north and the south, there's just so many areas where Terran players can just, yeah, set up quite well and even turtle and cut the map in half. So it looks like Dark has been vetoing Solaris. But here we go, spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid, tying up the series 1-1 in that last game. It is Clem. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the South Korean Zerg player representing Dragon Z Gaming. It is Dark. Catching up with the chat. I think Dark is adjusting to the patch really well, since Bailey and Infestors are so bad now. Just simply go full multiplayer attack, even more stricter. Yeah. I mean, in a much more standard game, I do think that's kind of what he does rely on quite a lot of, actually. It's really cool to see. Really cool to see, and I think we may even see that here on Site Delta. Speaking of the maps and how unique they are, Site Delta, of course, a very long map, and we have seen players really struggle to defend their fringe bases on this. I do think that you can set up on 4, but getting a 5th base, once we get into a longer game, the 5th base is where things can get a little bit more difficult, and a player like Dark can just pull you apart and take advantage of you. But we'll see. We'll see if we do get there. So far, Clem going for a Rax Expand. Very standard opener out of Clem. Very standard opener here in game number 3. Not going to be messing around at all with the 2 racks that he did whip out on Oceanborn. And this time, Dark is going Hatch Gas Pool. Again, the gasless openers are reserved for those maps where you can get away with it, like Golden Aura. I'm still surprised that he did it on Oceanborn. I'm not entirely convinced, but yeah, that's what Dark opted to go for. And he got away with it. You know, he did achieve quite a lot with his gasless opener. He wasn't punished. But now though, Hatch Gas full, Reaper gets into the main, does not get the drone. But is being zoned away. Up! Up! Oh my god. The Reaper barely does escape. 1 shot away from going down. But will manage to get away from the Queens. Oh, as Clem is going to be going for a 3rd CC. It's going to be a faster CC opener here from our Terran. So very economic from Clem. This is kind of reminding me of game 1, where Clem did go for a 3cc Banshee opener. And we could be seeing that here as well. And Stark is just setting up here, just saturating his bases, getting his 3rd. There's a tech lab on the way, so this can lead us into an add-on swap. This tech lab is a little bit late, so it's not perfectly lined up here. So we'll see if we go for the add-on swap or if we just commit here to Liberators. But nah, there we go. We are going to be switching over the production buildings. Going for Banshees. Okay. So a very safe build here from Clem. Essentially, 3cc Banshee is just very economic and very safe. It does keep you safe against Roach openers and Roach rushes. Or Roach-oriented builds and army compositions. And allows you to get damage across the map as well. As Dark is just going to be main outing over towards his 3rd base. We haven't seen a Roach Warren. This is looking like Ling Bane for the most part. We're just droning. Queens are going to keep up with the Hellions. And we have Lings just in case the Hellions dive in. So everything is by the book so far. Very standard play from both players. We're at the 4-minute 30 mark, so at this point we should be seeing a lair from Dark. He's just throwing down his Spore Crawlers, droning up. Keeping up with the rotations of these Hellions, making sure that there isn't an opening into a mineral line. And so far there isn't. Meanwhile, there's that lair. As we mentioned before, the Hellions, they do dive in towards the natural base, but the Lings are waiting. The Lings are in position, and Clem doesn't commit. But again, he's keen. He's keen. He's looking for any kind of opportunity. Behind this, he's taking his 3rd base. He's getting his Raxes. Cloak is about to finish, but the Spores are in position. They are ready. Alongside the lair, we have the Baneling Nest, so we're going to be going into, we should be going into fast Baneling speed. Then into our double Evo chambers for 1-1. Here we go, the Banshees are going to force the Queens to respond and rotate over towards the south. Hellions, they dive on that 4th base. Hatchery taking a lot of hits. And we may just barely force a cancel. Very nicely done here by Clem. Very quick moves to dive on that so early on. Canceling a hatchery with only Hellions, that's something you don't really get to see too often. So again, really nicely done. 1 Queen goes down here at the 3rd. And there is that Baneling speed on the way. Ooh, and we're going for a fast Hydra Den. Bold move here. A bold move from Dark. Really risky, actually. So he's taking up very quickly. Very quickly. If Clem decides to commit here to 3-base play, then we could see Dark being in a lot of trouble. For now, though, we're only on 5 hatcheries. Sorry, 5 hatcheries. We're only on 5 Raxes. We're getting a 2nd factory. We haven't taken gases yet. I'll keep my eye on the production tab. If Clem does go for an 8 Rax, and if he does realize how greedy Dark is being, then Clem can punish Dark, definitely. But I don't think that's the setup that we're really working on. especially with the second factory. I don't feel like that's kind of where we're headed. Yeah, Clem is taking gases. Yeah, he's taking his gases, working on the fourth base. Clem is looking at a longer game here, which means Darky's getting away with all this tech. We have Hydras on the way, Infestation Bit for Hive Tech. And Darky is going to be able to saturate and drone up to 80. Dark is in an ideal position. There's that 4cc that we were talking about. Here we go. Clem is pushing now. Again, Dark's army is smaller than it should be because he went into Hydras. So he has less Ling Bane, significantly less Ling Bane. And we'll see if he has enough. Hellbats have been morphed into Banelings. They try to connect. They go for the Marines. Good engagement there from Dark. He does force the pickup. He forces the entire army back. And that was a close hold. Again, Dark is down in army supply, but now his economy is going to kick in. Again, Dark, his army supply was low because of his teching, because the infestation bit's done and the hydrogen as well. But now that he survived the first push, Dark should be catching up and overtaking Clem. As Dark is focusing on nothing but Ling Bane. I do have a mine drop coming in towards the third base. Dark, he does react. Does react in time. Fifth base under fire as well. There's no creep. Dark having a hard time engaging. Another double drop moving out once again even. As 3 drones went down. Clem is going to back off, and Clem maintains his supply lead as well. Up! Oof. 4 drones go down. Dark is taking a blow to his economy. A lot of lost mining time. And Dark is droning. Up! Oh! As his Baileys, they will connect with part of the army. He does have to back off from here. Again, 20 more Lings in production. We're running out of Bailings. Dark, he's committing very hard here off of creep. He will force the pickup. Cleans up the Widow Mines as well. And he does need to buy some time here to morph in some Bailings. As Clem is not slowing down, he's not stopping. There it is. 9 Bailings on the way. Hive is done. Viper's in production as well. Oof. Big mine shots, the friendly fire! Oh my god. Friendly fire there was insane. As Dark forces back the army once again. He's working on Adrenal. His range upgrades. Carapace as well. And the window is closing. Earlier, again, because of how tech-heavy Dark was, Clem, he had the supply lead and he had the opportunity to deny bases and kill workers. Now that opportunity isn't there anymore. Oh. As Dark is settling in, spreading his creep, getting all of his hatcheries up and running. And Dark has maxed out. He got away with a lot this game. He's going to be losing a hatchery towards the south. So that at least that is going Clem's way. Does deny the 5th. Sorry, does deny the 6th base. But Dark didn't really need a 6th base. He's going to be expanding towards the north instead. Fanning out his Lings. Clem likewise maxed. Oh my god, a massive mine shot goes off. Dark losing so many Lings. And at the same time, Clem going for a split push. He has an army towards the south, an army towards the north, and an army pushing through the center as well, getting on top of the 6th base. Actually going straight for the army even. A bit of an overextension out of Clem is going to be catching at least a Viper. Very nicely done. Does catch a Viper in the end. Oh! Oh my god. Big connection on those lings. Likewise on the banelings! Massive connections. Dark bleeding out a little bit here, but he's still on 80 workers, and he still maintains his 5 bases. He's got his 6th on the way as well. Clem is looking to deny it. Very limited creeps right here. Yeah, Dark, he has been missing his tumors. He hasn't been spreading his creep as effectively as he otherwise could have. He's just been keeping up with the army movement instead. Going for a drop into the main. And Clem is not ready for this. The drop has arrived. Dark trying to double expand. We even have Burrow. Let's go. Jump towards the south, trying to keep up. Bailing Rumbai comes in. 16 workers go down, and Dark is snowballing out of control. He's getting on top of these CCs. Clem is just pulled completely out of position. His main army goes into the main base, so he exposes some of his fringe bases instead. In one swift move, one drop was all it took. And it allowed for 24 workers to go down. We still have lanes in the main. They're burrowed. Ghost gets abducted. And we're breaking into the natural. This is where the main army is, so Dark has to be careful not to overextend, but he's still getting so many depots. And he breaks into the natural base, taking down more SCVs. We do have a pretty committed drop across the map that's also doing some counter damage as well, to be fair. Dark is racing back home. He does turn back around. Reinforcements are trickling in. Evo chambers are falling. This drop is getting a lot done. Meanwhile, Dark doesn't turn around. He keeps pushing, Papi. I don't think we should. I don't think we need to break the main. We don't need to, but he wants to. God, he has so many Banelings. But there are so many mines. As across the map, it looks like his reinforcements have handled the drop. Clem is forced back. And Clem is down to 46 SCVs. From here, Dark, he can drone, he can do whatever he wants. He catches some of the army. Takes down a medevac. His Evo chambers were sniped, so he's stuck on, 3-2. Not the best upgrades here from Dark, but he's going to be replacing them. Throwing down additional Evo chambers. Taking a moment to spread his creep as well. To build up his forces. Clem, oh my god, he has to be very careful. The baits! Up! Not the best connections, but connections nonetheless. Into the single file of Marine Marauder. 6th base is going to be going down, but we have another hatchery here towards the south anyway. And we're going for another drop into the main. There are Marines here in the main base though, thankfully. We have some units in position. Those things, they go straight for the main base. Decent winter mine shots. But it's a numbers game at this point, and Clem is bleeding out so much. There's that drop into the main. At the same time, Ling's rushing in towards that natural, forcing some friendly fire from those winter mines. And the Lings in the main, they're still getting damage done. Still wreaking havoc. Taking down depots. We still have a couple of Lings in those drops, in those drop lords. Dark has an insane bank, catches some of those ghosts. Vipers, they have to pull back, they have to regenerate that energy. Oh my god, massive connection. Once the mine shots have been insane. They're keeping Clem in this. Clem, he may have a crippled economy, but he has a massive army. Another massive mine shot on the Ling Vein. Clem, he can still take a fight. Dark has to back off, loses the base. Does have to retreat. Clem, he is taking this base towards the north. His 5th slowly getting up and running. Dark, he hasn't touched these bases, bear that in mind. He doesn't see, he doesn't know. I mean, he should be aware of at least this 4th base. Yeah, Dark is going to have to back off, slow down. Oh, he's not in position to defend against this push. Banelings are on the way. Clem now looking to be the aggressor, looking to try to pull Dark apart. Massive mine shots on the Overseers, not on the army this time. Infestors are coming in looking for the Fungals, and they connect. Fungals, they will connect. And taking down this army, and a handful of units left. At the same time, Dark, he collapses on the northern army as well. Good snipes on the Vipers. But we're going for the planetary. We're going for the mineral line. Yeah, the Banelings, they connect. They take down the planetary. Dark going for 2 bases at once. He's down to only some Hydras. He has to respect the army of Clem. Has to back off. And Dark, even though he hasn't been losing a lot of drones recently, he hasn't really been mining. He's down to 65 workers. He hasn't been replacing the drones that he's been losing. Good Fungal. That is something we have to be wary of. Yeah, the Liberator and this Widow Mine. Being a massive nuisance. Now Clem, he sees the army here towards the south, so he's rotating everything towards the north instead. Again, for both players, it's really difficult to defend both locations at once. The Yoink, okay, SCVs are going down. And Dark has to get off this base. There's no way to hold on to it. But Dark did take this time to redrone. He's oversaturated, but he's redroning at least. Does need to take another hatchery. And Clem is stabilizing. He's long distance mining, but he is stabilizing here. If he takes a bad fight, then I don't think Clem can rebuild. But at the same time, Dark doesn't have the most efficient army either. Do we have any spellcasters? We have a lot of Vipers. We have Infestors. Yeah, okay, he can take a fight. Dark, if he consolidates his army, he can take a good fight. The question is, can he? As the game will settle from here. Dark, heavily oversaturated, still looking for another base. He's going for +1 range. Let's go. This could still go either way. Like, the worker counts are close enough to kind of give Clem, just allow him to be pretty comparable to that of Dark. Creed Shred still just connecting the bases. Clem, if he takes a good fight, can still snowball this into, oh my god, into a victorious Dark. He takes some big mine shots to the face once again. All it takes is a couple of Widow Mines. Ay, ay, ay. That was brutal. Another Infestor. Infestors, they're going down for free. That's 2 Infestors. That's a kill, not a cancel on that hatchery as well. Dark is falling apart a little bit. Too many mistakes too quickly. And yeah, this is anyone's game. He does want that fungal. Oh, he goes for it, and he gets it. Another big mine shot goes off. Dark dropping in supply, but he does catch this army. Like, there have been so many instances this game where a mine shot goes off when we get like the maximum amount of lings available. And even this, I'm not entirely convinced. Decent bungles at least. But fighting off of creep like this, it's not ideal, and we lose another infestor. Dark, as the infestor count has been reset. Trying to engage once again off of creep. A good power bomb, but the snipes! This is getting very scrappy. It's become a game where Clem is trading more efficiently. Dark has a better economy, but because Dark has been taking some rough moments, some rough fights, Clem is still in this. He's taking another. This is a good moment. This is a very crucial moment here for Clem. Can he establish this base, this planetary? If he can, he's going to run away with this. Here we go. The lurkers have arrived. A lot of mine shots going to be going off. Big power bombs on the medevacs. So many medevacs go down. Dark, he's going for the kill shot. He's going for the main base. He wants to get on top of the production. Yeah, he's going right for it. There is an army in position. There are some units. But it looks like, yeah, Dark, he should be able to bust in. Big mine shots are going off. The Liberators are getting yoinked, and Dark, as he pushes forward, we do have Clem going for a big counterattack, and oh my god, so many drones are going down. So Dark is camping the production. Back at home, he's losing his economy. A lot of drones, bases as well. Dark, he's gonna have to race back home. His Vipers at least are. And Dark, he's gonna lose 2 mining bases. Oh my god. So one player lost their production, the other lost their economy. But Dark does have lurkers. And the production is a pretty big deal. Yeah, as Clem, he's supply blocked, he can't make anything. He's got Raxes on the way. Ghost Academy as well. As Dark is rebuilding here, replenishing his losses, and he can keep on pushing towards that planetary. And Clem, he can't deal with this. Clem actually doesn't really have an army, actually. Clem, he lost all of his ghosts. This is his army. This is all that Clem has left. It looks like Dark has done enough. Clem, he almost brought himself back into this. Like Dark had a massive advantage when he dropped into the main base, when he was just pulling apart Clem and crippling the economy. Yeah, Dark, it looks like he has something. He takes down the most important mining base here of Clem. He's trying to hold on here. Clem, he's down to 2 bases. He's down to top right and center right. That's all he has left. Nah, but without Ghost, there's no answer to the lurkers. No Ghost, no Liberators. GG gets called, and Dark barely does it. GG. Dark will take a lead in this series 2-1, taking down Clem on Site Delta. GG, well played. Oh my god, a very chaotic game. Very chaotic, Poppy. Initially, Dark was able to take a massive lead. If you remember, things were actually looking a little bit close, really dire even for Dark, where he was being really greedy and Clem was punishing him. And then Dark was able to max out, break free, go for a jump into the main, hit the 3rd base, push into the natural, took control of the main base, and yeah, from that moment he was ahead economically. From that moment he did take an economic lead. Clem was clawing his way back into it, made a game out of it, made it very close, but alas, Dark was able to just leverage that better economy, leverage it, and yeah, snowball into a win. GG. GG, well played. And our next game is going to be on Hard Lead. Oh boy. But that took that took a lot out of me, Pop. Took a lot. Here we go. We are getting into our next game. Going to be on hard lead. Let's go. Catching up. Catching up in the chat, but yeah, we are just getting ready for potentially the final game of the series. Of course, Dark, he needs one more. Uno más. One more is all that Dark needs. Clem needs to win this game to force the ace match, to bring it to game 5. Here we go. Nate W, that face. Nathanius. But here we go. This is where it could all end. Clem, he needs your help. He needs your support, Papi. He needs it. We want to make a series out of this, if we want to go all the way to the ace match, and here he is spawning in the bottom right hand corner of hard lead. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid down in this series, but looking to fight back, looking to force that game 5. It is Clem. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player, the blue Zerg representing CranKy Gaming. It is Dark. I just realized that the title was wrong on YouTube. God damn it. Lovely, lovely. Oh, can I fix that? Can I fix that live? Yeah, we'll fix it. Sorry. Americas. There we go. Beautiful. Alright, here we go. It all ends here, and so far we do have Dark going for a hatch gas pool. Standard opener out of Dark. Again, I'd be shocked if Dark went for a gasless opener on hard lead. That's just not something you do. Not something you can get away with. So, Dark is just not touching that whatsoever. Meanwhile, back at home, Clem going for a Rax expand. No 2 Rax this time either. So we're just easing our way into game 4, calming things down. Things have been very intense, and we are going to be sending our SCV across the map just to scout, just to get an eye on what is going on. No 2 Raxes this time, and again, no gasless opener this time either. So one of the big features of hard lead is, of course, the rush distance. You can commit to these big all-ins, and if Dark were to go for something like a Roach Ravager all-in, this would be a good map for it. We've seen it before. We actually saw Dark whip that out here on this map against Bjorn earlier today. So it would make a lot of sense. Actually, no, sorry. I think it was Disrespect, right? It was game 1 from Disrespect was Golden Aura, and then game 2 was Hard Lead. Yeah, I remember. So we'll see what kind of approach we go for, as Clem is going to be going for a 3cc opener once again. Should be a 3cc Banshee. Another thing that you can go for to try to punish this is a Link Queen Nidus all-in, which Dark is quite fond of. Does go for the Link Queen Nidus whenever he can. Catching up. Gave old Nate my prime sub a couple of days ago. All these years, still love the guy. Like you, good vibe. Yeah. I have a lot of love for Nathanius. I know Nathanius. He has like a bit of a love-hate relationship with the StarCraft community. I know he's been through a lot. He's been through a lot, and he's Oh, we do get a couple of SCVs. Let's go. And a full scout of the main. Dark accomplishing a lot here with these lings. Getting 3 SCVs, delays the 3rd CC, and gets a full scout of the main as well. Very nicely done. I was gonna say that I know that Nathanius is he's very jaded. He's very jaded nowadays, you know, with a lot of things going on. But yeah, I like him. I like him a lot. I used to watch a lot of Naterdam back in the day. It was Nathanius and Rotterdam casting WCS Americas, or WCS Premier League Americas back in the day. A lot of love. Especially, mate, you get Nate like in a TVT or like a Terran matchup, and he can be really passionate. Like, I do appreciate his casting, especially when Terran's involved. I know nowadays he casts a lot less. You know, much love, much love. As we settle into our game 4, and already Dark having a pretty strong start here, achieving quite a lot with very little already, able to gain momentum, and that allows him to just get his 3rd base up and running. We've got safety lings on the way here to make sure these Hellions don't dive and don't get out of control. Behind this, he also confirmed the Banshee opener, so spores should be on the way momentarily for Dark as well, as he did get eyes on the 3cc 1 or 3cc Banshee, 3cc Starport build. Overlords are on the way. As Dark is just establishing himself here. We have all the spores being thrown down here in time, just in time for those Banshees. Oh. It's able to force him back. Thank you so much, Roblo guy. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Roboology. My apologies. I misread that entirely. Robology. There we go. Robology 13. Okay, I had to wrap my head around it. Thank you for gifting us up to the community. To Chase even. Oh, Chase. Chase, of course, he casts whenever he can as well. Does join me on the channel from time to time. From time to time, as Clem is going to be threatening a dive here with his Hellions. At the same time, the Lings also threaten a dive as well. They don't quite make it into the natural, but they do collapse on the 3rd base. Oh, good reactions out of Clem. The Hellions, they come back home, and Dark doesn't achieve too much with this. He forces lost mining time, but he didn't kill too many SCVs. Did force Clem back home, as Dark is just getting into his Ling Bane setup. We have the lair on the way, macro hatch, double Evo chamber. Interesting choice here. So I didn't actually get to point this out. I was a little bit distracted. But Dark, he opened up quite greedy this game. He delayed his lair in favor of double Evo chambers, which means he gets late baneling speed. Now, this is a scary moment. This will create an opportunity for Clem, where Clem can maybe push in before baneling speed is done because of how heavily delayed it is. It's going to be close, especially because Clem should be pushing at around the 7-minute mark. So quite greedy here from Dark. Of course, if he can get away with it, he will have quite a lead in upgrades, as 2-2 is going to be on the horizon here as soon as 1-1 finishes. Meanwhile, the Banshees, they may not have killed too many workers, but they do deny a hatchery here on the top right. They force a cancel on that base. They head towards the mineral line as well, but their Queen's in position. And the Banshees, they don't get too much more done, but here comes the drop from Clem. Important that I point that out. We can commit to a push, but instead we're just going to be keeping most of our army back at home. Just going for a double drop instead. Towards the 4th, or 5th even. Here we go. He does trade quite well here against the Lings, but he doesn't quite deny the 4th base. Hellions are ready to dive in. I keep saying 4th. Deny the 5th base. Hellions are ready to dive into the 4th, but the Queens are in position. Hive is on the way. 2-2 starts up immediately here for Dark. And it feels like he's getting away with quite a lot here. Clem, he didn't go into any tank production. I'm a little bit shocked. No tank, straight into Widowmines instead. I know the Widowmines, they did well for him in game 1, don't get me wrong, but yeah, it's not a tank push. Here we go, the Hellbats, they waddle on in. But do we have the Banelings for this? Only a handful of Banelings available. The Queens are pushing on forward. The Lings come in first round, but against Hellbats, oh, they do not trade well. And we try to go for a counterattack instead. Top pick up from Clem, able to avoid disaster. Dark is holding with his queens though, as he doesn't lose too much ground. Not the most efficient trades out of Dark even here. Oh, bleeding out a lot of lings. Not the most efficient trades, but he is holding. 2-2 on the horizon. Here come reinforcements. So Clem trying to snowball out of control. He wants to break this fourth. Good mine shots. Yeah, more Widowmines are waddling in to reinforce. The Hellbats doing a great job tanking. But the Baileys, they connect, and Clem, can he keep pushing? Can he break Dark? It's close. He's on the brink here of breaking him. Gets into a mineral line. Drones are going. A lot of drones are going down. 8 workers. Stark tries to go for his own counterattack, playing the 4th base of his opponent. He gets 5 SCVs. Does get some damage done. Darky drones back up to 80. But he moves out a little bit too soon. Come back. There we go. He does pull back in the end. They're going to be able to deal with this drop, and he's going for a massive counterattack instead. He wants that mineral line. He wants to punish his base, and he will get these SCVs. The Baileys, they're just chilling. Bailey's going to be forward here, but it looks like, yeah, they were spotted. They were spotted just in time. Clem will survive the counterattack, and Dark is in a lot of trouble, actually. Yeah, he's been missing injects. Missing injects. He has a bank, but he's not quite spending all of his money. He can't. Yeah, no injects here in the main base either. Just because of how aggressive Clem has been, the queens have been busy. Stark tries to go for a counterattack, but Clem has far too much back at home. And Dark is bleeding out too much. He's bleeding out far. No, the queens are going down. We need them. We need to inject. As queens are falling left and right. Yeah, and Dark, even though he has a bank, he cannot spend his money. He's got 3-3 on the way. He has an Ultra Cavern. But GG gets called, and Clem will tab the series 2-2. We're going to the ace match. GG. GG, well played. Dark taking up all the way into Hive Tech, into Ultras, but didn't have the economy for it, didn't have the money for it, or the lava either, as he could not keep up with the macro, with the momentum of Clem. And a lot of that also comes down to the map. Hardlit has a very short rush distance by ground, so once you get the ball rolling, it's hard to stop it. Hard to stop it. And yeah, now we have an ace match. We're going all the way to game 5. 2 nights in a row. ESL Asia and Americas. All the way to the ace. Beautiful. Beautiful. I will try to fix up the YouTube description as well, as we have 1 map left, and I'm not actually sure what map we're going to be loading into. What was vetoed? Radicet and Solaris was vetoed. What haven't we seen yet? Alcyone, right? Alcyone. I believe that should be our final map. And it looks like our players need a moment. Players are asking for a break. I don't blame them whatsoever. It's been an intense ride, an intense series. Again, going all the way to that ace match. So I guess we'll go on a... Yeah, I guess we'll go on a short break as well. Until our players are ready. Until then, be able to come back in. Name is drop. Yeah. Of his Moxie. His cast back in the day was Roddy. Some of my favorites. Yeah. He had some good stuff with Roddy. CranKy and friends. we're all the CranKy Ducklings, papi. Hello, Jeff Bezos in the chat. Myself, Yaku, Asher, we're all part of the CranKy Ducklings. We're all part of the CranKy Ducklings. Kuro as well. We work together as much as we can. Chase technically isn't. Chase is he's a guest on the channel. I think I've offered to have him join the CranKy Ducklings, but I don't think he's accepted. Mainstream sounded disjointed at times. I mean, yeah, that can happen, especially if someone has an off day. Obviously, the downside is I'm not able to watch the mainstream when we're casting the B stream. Like, I don't know what's happening. Not able to keep up. But overall, I hope you've all been enjoying ESL Masters Winter. Hope you've been enjoying. One day will be on the mainstream. One day. Fun fact: I was actually offered. When was this? 2022. Last year I was offered maybe 2021 as well. I was offered to be on the mainstream for Oceania. This was before Oceania, rest of Asia was merged with Taiwan and China this year. So it was last year and the year before. I was offered to be on the mainstream to cast with Pig and Maynard. But I did end up turning them down. The reason why, one, I wasn't feeling too confident about it. But I also turned them down because then who would handle the B stream? Especially for our region, for the Oceanic region, like with Miyamaika, with Ranger, with T-Bull, with everyone, with Raza. Like, we know the players, and I knew that we would do them justice just because we cast them on a weekly basis. So I was really concerned that if they got like some of the other guys to cast the B stream of Oceania, that it wouldn't be too good. So yeah, I did. Fun fact: I did end up turning them down. That was last year. But here we go. We're getting into the ace match and spawning in the top right-hand corner of Alcyone. We have the French Terran player representing Team Liquid. It is Clem. Forcing the ace match. Let's go. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the South Korean Zerg player representing CranKy Z Gaming. It is Dark. And this is it. This is where it all ends. Also, my thought process was, whenever I did turn it down, I think it was last year, maybe the year before. My thought process was like, oh, you know, I'll have more opportunities to cover the mainstream. It'll be fine. Then next minute we get merged. And because Oceania and China and Taiwan, they all got merged into one region. This year, I'm sure it's well known, this year the budget for the casters was cut. So in years past, they would have one set of casters cover the first half, which would be like Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, Oceania, that region. You'd have one set of casters, which would be like Pig and Maynard and Zeph and Pilsky and potentially myself. And then halfway through the night, they would switch, and it would go over to the European broadcast, which would be Wardy and Rotterdam, the Muslim, for example, all those guys. But because everything was merged, now they don't do that anymore, and it's one broadcast for the whole thing, like one set of casters for the whole thing. Which means, I think there was a Reddit thread a couple of days ago about how because of that, it means that the Australian casters aren't really being considered. Like, that's why Pig isn't a part of it, for example, because he would have to do a whole night, or Maynard, and yeah, it does mean that we have less opportunities, which is a shame. It technically it could mean that maybe I missed my chance on being on the mainstream, which is a shame if that's true. Like if I don't have another opportunity, like that would be a shame, but it's okay. It's okay, Papi. It's okay. I'm happy here on the CranKy Ducklings. Happy. As we get into our game. Again, going to be a hatch gas pull here from Dark into his third base. Standard opener. Likewise, back at home, Clem going to be going for a third CC opener here into a star court. So nothing too wild, nothing too crazy. On a map like Alcyone, talking about the maps a little bit here, this is a far more defensive map as well. it is quite difficult to, oh, as we do get a tumor, it's going to be quite difficult to break a player on 3 bases, even on 4 bases as well. This is applicable to both players. So I expect this to go a little bit longer. I expect if Dark were to try to tech up heavily into ultras, he'll have more success here. I didn't get to mention it, but this is also why last game was very surprising. The rush distance by ground on hard lead is very short, so I think someone in the chat was asking about it. Yes, hard lead is a map where if you get momentum, you can just end the game. Like, you can be very aggressive on hard lead, as we saw Clem doing, and it's very hard to, you know, to take momentum away from your opposing player. And yeah, it's why I was shocked. I was a little bit surprised that Dark was taking up into Hive on hard lead of all maps. Like, that's crazy. you can't get away with that map. You can't get away, and he didn't. So I do think that was a really risky maneuver out of Dark to rush into Hive in such a manner. When he's up against a player like Clem, or I say a player like Clem, but a player of the quality, of the caliber of Clem, because obviously they'd be able to punish you, and Clem was able to punish Dark. Oh, so we're going all in. Roach One is thrown down to Overlord speed as well. This Overlord speed is very early and very suspect. I imagine this is going to be to send queens across the map as well. This is lined up with the lair. So one way or another, I believe Dark is looking to end the game. He does have an Overlord in position on the right hand side. I believe this is going to be for a push, but we'll see. As these like queen roach pushes are mainly spotted. Yeah, there we go. I was going to say these queen roach pushes are mainly a thing in ZvP. Raynor does do them in this matchup as well against meching players, but there it is. We're just sending everything across the map. The queens, the roaches, the lings. We're all in. Now Clem does see the Dropper Lord. He spots this. He's reacting. We have a bunker on the way. Banshees as well. It was 3cc Banshee, of course. We could even do with a second bunker on the low ground as well. As Dark is arriving. Oh, do we have detection though? Ay. Oh, the juggling. Let's go. Banshees, they don't shoot up. They do not shoot up. Oh, as these Banshees are doing so much damage to these roaches. One roach does go down. Could go for another. As the Banshees, they do what they can, but they're running out of cloak, they're running out of energy, and we have queens to deal with them. Darky minimizes his losses as he's continuing here with the all-in. Knocking down the front wall, knocking down these depots. Not committing with the lings yet. We don't want to throw them away. We can't afford to throw them away. Ugh. As we do commit, Bars are going to be connecting, but Dark, he's losing too much. He's losing far too much, down to only 3 Ravagers, and behind this, he starts droning. Oh, very late droning here from Dark. He recognizes that he cannot break Clem. The Banshees were catching reinforcements, or denying any reinforcements, and Dark is in a really rough position. He is behind. He's behind at this point. He's down 10 workers. He's even in bases. Sure, we have creeping spread, but we can scan. And eventually we'll be able to retake and reclaim control of this third. And yeah, Dark, he's got some catching up to do. We have an infestation pit. This should be for infestors, for safety infestors, to like survive the next couple of minutes. And yeah, emphasis on that because Clem is up 30 supply. Like he is this is 30 army supply as well. This push is going to be brutal. And I'm going to be shocked if Dark can hold on. There it is. 4 infestors are on the way. That is going to be 4 fungal growths available. And we need to make them count. We have a 5th infestor as well, and Clem is just snowballing out of control. Even with fungals, we don't even have that many roaches or that many ravagers. How do we defend against it? How do we stop this push? Here we go. The pressure is on. The army has arrived. And moving on forward towards that natural base. We're still waiting for those fungals. The infestors, they've arrived. Oh, the first one gets wasted. Now we have 4 left. 4 fungals remaining. It was 5 in total. Now Clem, he does scan. He does see the army. He's going to back off, actually. Up. So we do barely land a fungal there. We catch 1 tank. Darky's crazy. And he survives. Clem, he just did not want to risk it. Did not want to risk pushing into all those infestors, and he backs off. He throws down a 4 CC. Clem is still ahead. He's still up in workers and soon to be up in bases. Dark is still only on 3 hatcheries. Oh. That's the Banshees. They come back in. Aye. 7, 8 drones go down. I know that Dark does his best when behind, right? Like he's always the guy that comes back from being in such a deficit and he pulls off these amazing plays, but this is a pretty big deficit. What are the infestors? No! Oh, we do land a fungal, but 2 infestors go down. Oof. Brutal loss there for Dark. Got a 4th hatchery on the way. Yeah, Clem is maxed out at this point. Like, Dark, he's trying to chip away at this army. He's trying to slow it down as best he can with these infestors, with the fungals, with the vials. I mean, he's shaving off some units, don't get me wrong. Trying to catch the army on siege as well. Does connect with one of those fungals. He has 8 infestors. Oh! 8 infestors are available. The vials, they will not connect. Darky's just desperately trying to buy time. This Clem is edging on forward here. Just leapfrogging with those tanks. Wow, Dark, he is, you know, nearing the army supply of his opponents, but we talk about this all the time. The soup, it lies. The soup does lie in this situation. Clem, his army supply is just far ahead of that of his opponent. As Road Ravager is very inflated. The only thing we can really hope for here is a good fungal. Like a miracle fungal growth, and we can just follow it up with vials as well. Oh, the EPs! Oh my god, the ghost dives in, the fungal misses as well, and we get on top of the Ravagers. The Ravagers are falling one after the other. The Roaches not quite in position to support them. GG gets called, it's just too much, and Clem will take the series 3-2, becoming this week's ESL Open Cup Americas champion. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Clem as he does bring it all back. He was down 1-2 in this series and he brought it back 2 games in a row and took it here against Dark. Congratulations. My condolences to Dark, but hey, you know, Dark, he won ESL Asia last night. You know, you got to spread the love, you got to spread the prize money here, and he does bow out against Clem. When it comes to his build of choice on Alcyone, I'll be honest, these roach-based all-ins, I don't think I've seen it work before. I'm sure it does, but when it comes to what we've casted on Alcyone, whether it's against Protoss or whether it's against Terran, we have seen quite a lot of attempted 3-base roach all-ins, whether it's Roach Queen or Roach Ravager Ling. We've seen a lot of them, and it's very difficult to pull off on Alcyone just because of the defender's advantage, just because of the rush distance by ground, the Zelnaga as well. The Zelnaga does give you access, or does allow the Terran player to scout this ahead of time, and that's exactly what happened. Clem was able to prepare, was able to shut it down, and GG, well played. Congratulations. to Clem. Oh, as I do fix this up. And congratulations to those of you as well that did bet on this series. As that is going to wrap us up for this morning. Only this morning, though, as we have plenty more StarCraft ahead of us. We're going to be going on a short break, 3 hours. 3 hours time. I'm going to take this moment to get some food. I'd like some breakfast. I'm going to get some food, get some water. I might stream on my personal channel. I might have a cheeky ladder session just to keep the brain going. I don't think I can afford to nap, but in 3 hours time, we're going to be live with World Team League, with WTL. I'm tempted to get some sleep, but I don't think I should. I'm concerned that if I sleep, I won't wake up. We have to cover WTL tonight, and we may also do some co-streaming of ESL Masters in the evening as well, just because I do have to adjust. We're going to be casting the B stream tomorrow, so not tonight, but tomorrow for ESL Masters Winter. We will be covering the B stream, and yeah, we're going to be live. Going to be live here for you. I'm not here on the official B stream channel. Regardless, thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for your support. If you are unsatiated, if you want some more StarCraft, again, in 3 hours, we're going to be doing a catch-up stream on World Team League. The reason why it's a catch-up stream is because on Sunday, over the weekend, we were casting on the B stream of ESL, which means that we couldn't cast World Team League. We could only do one. We couldn't do both, unfortunately. So we're going to be having a catch-up stream of Day 3 of Round 5 of WTL Winter. So if you're curious, that's what we're going to be covering. I believe that was casted live by maybe Rotterdam or maybe Wardy. I think there was some English coverage for it live at the time. But yeah, we're going to be covering it ourselves. So yeah, we will see you guys then. Otherwise, I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. Hope you had a great morning, and hope you have a great week as well. Great week of StarCraft. Starting tomorrow, ESL Masters will be back. It's going to be back in full swing, so be a part of it. Be a part of it. It's a great tournament, great matches, great plays, great players to be had as well, and yeah, it's a good time. Good time, Bobby. Good time. I'm a cranky donkey, Bob. You're an animal. You're an animal. Este baby. But yeah, with that, we are going to be done for the night. So thank you so much for watching, everyone. Thanks so much for the support. Stick around. We're going to be giving another StarCraft streamer a raid. I'm not too sure who, but we'll find someone to raid. We'll find someone. And yeah, we'll see you guys in 3 hours for some World Team League. Until then, hasta luego. Bye. Hasta luego.